And to start with, Bruce Hawker joins us from New York. Bruce, great to have you with us. We're going to be joined by Nick Minchin in just a moment, but let's talk foreign politics. Well, Nick is here. Nick, great to have you with us, former Liberal Party Senator. First of all, Bruce, to you, Hillary Clinton has announced, of course, that she will step down at the inauguration as Secretary of State. What is the talk in the States about this? Is the rumour, obviously, that she will stand for president in 4 years' time?
That's the rumour, Paul, and I think it's reasonably well-founded. I don't know that she's really gone too far out of her way to dispel it. And right now, I don't think there are too many other people in the field, given that it's about a week since the election. And the Republican nominee, quite likely, will be a name that we all know, and that's Bush, but it's Jeb Bush, the brother of George and son of George Sr.
Oh,
so Hillary Clinton is a very likely starter, I would have thought, and that's probably why she needs to get out of the administration and start to make her own way in the world.
And that's the important thing, isn't it? Because she hasn't been able to take part in this campaign at all, given her position as Secretary of State. So she needs to stand well aside and then announce she's running. What is the talk that she has quite a lot of support for this? Obviously, 4 years' time, it's quite a long time.
It's a long, long way off, but the only poll that I've read, and by golly, there are a lot of polls in this country, has her 3 times more popular than Joe Biden, and I haven't even heard Joe Biden's name being put up as a potential presidential candidate. But look, she would be popular, and being a woman, she would obviously carry a lot of weight with that part of the constituency. A lot of people feel she was hard done by history by being beaten by Obama in the primaries in 2008. So it could be her time. She won't be too old, but, you know, she will be in advanced years.
Yeah, she'll be getting on.
Yeah,
to put it nicely.
Aren't we all?
Is there something weird about that democracy, though, that potentially you could have a Bush up against a Clinton? Are there just not enough people in that country?
It's incredible, isn't it? And Bushes have been involved in these elections virtually since about 1980, with about one exception, I think, being the last one. They've just been in every election campaign going forward, either as a presidential or vice presidential candidate. The thing about Jeb Bush, though, that's interesting is that at a time when the Hispanic vote is increasing rapidly, 500,000 more Hispanic people get the vote every year. He's married to a Mexican. He comes from the South, and he's got good relations with that part of the community. So it would be an important strategic move for the Republicans if they were going to go down that path. Just as with Clinton, it's important to get the female vote very solidly behind her.
Absolutely. Sounds like that was a match made in heaven. All right, Nick, one of the reasons, of course, that Hillary Clinton is here, it'll be a last trip to Australia as Secretary of State, is to talk defence. In fact, that's the primary reason. And there is a lot of debate as to whether or not Australia's cut in the defence budget is going to be on the agenda. Do you think it will be?
Look, for all the the machinations over this, of course the US is concerned about our cuts to our defence budget. I mean, the US spends 4.7% of its economy on defence. We spend 1.6%, the lowest since the 1930s. So, of course, the US is concerned about our cuts to defence, even though there'll be all these diplomatic niceties about, oh, no, we're not going to raise it. I'm sure behind the scenes the Americans will raise it. They will raise their concerns. And the Labor Party has abandoned its commitment to maintain defence spending at 3% increase in real terms. It's another broken promise by the Labor Party, and I'm sure the Americans are very concerned about it.
Yeah. I mean, clearly this is going to be part of the talks, Bruce. Stephen Smith was at pains over the weekend to point out that on the agenda for these talks there's no mention of talking about defence cuts, but at the same time there is mention of defence going ahead. So obviously they are going to be talking about defence cuts.
Well, I'm not sure. One of the things, though, I do know is that the Americans are going to cut their defence spending over the next decade by anywhere between $500 billion and $1 trillion. So they might be wanting to look in their own backyard before they get too critical about Australia cutting its back, particularly since we now have 2,500 Marines based in Darwin who are, you know, part of a rotation there. So I think there will be some argument probably behind closed doors about all this, but both nations are intent on cutting the debt and deficit.
Yeah, we do have to be very nice to them, though, because of this business with China, cuddling up with China. We don't want to completely offside the United States. Very quickly, Nick, there's the conversation over this surplus in the budget has been changing around Parliament quite a bit lately. Do you think they're moving away from the idea of a surplus now?
Well, there's no chance of the Labor Party delivering a surplus this financial year, so they are repositioning from their absolute unqualified promise that they would deliver one. You can see from their language that they're now repositioning. We won't actually know whether or not there's a surplus this financial year until after the next federal election. But I think the Labor Party will start to say that, look, it's just a forecast, we hope we get a surplus, but you know, the world's a scary place.
Yeah.
So I think they're backing off what has been, up to this point, an unqualified promise.
Yeah, and I think you're right, we won't know until after the next election, but I think well before that we'll know that it's impossible to reach one. In fact, we probably know that already. Bruce Hawker, it's time for you to come back to Australia. Nick Minchin, thank you very much.